And earlier we spoke to Mr. Peter Major, a director for Mining and Modern Corporate Solutions, on dangers as well as the health risks associated with.
Problem in a lot of industries. It's not just station for silicosis. It's in asset management, probably a lot of government pension funds. So there's no easy, quick way of fixing this. You know, we'd love to have a couple Elon Musk going through our database, finding out how can they clean this up, how can they speed it up. But education of the individual cannot be overestimated. Or it's so important that we educate all of our citizens, all of employees when they join any business, because they need to know that there are avenues they go to when these things happen. When you've got money sitting around and nobody's really paying attention, that is exactly when corruption starts coming in. And even if it's not corruption, it's inefficient utilization of resources. That should be claimed. And if the person who put that money in is deceased, without a doubt, it should go to his descendants, who was in his will, his family. So everybody can make a harder effort. And that includes the institutions that have that money. There's a lot of unemployed people here, a lot of unemployed students, maybe very good at accounting, very good in statistics. There's a lot of more resources we can put at tracking down money could go to, and everybody who has a relative still alive, they've got to go to, first of all, Chamber of Mines, the mining company, the government of mines. You know, they've got to go there and make themselves heard. Say, hey, here's where I worked. Here's when I worked there, and I haven't received anything, and I can't get a job, or I'm sick, or my dad's sick, and people have to take responsibility for themselves too. The person has died. He's buried. There's no available autopsy report. Now, maybe that person could still have got an insurance out if he had some kind of fund. If insurance fund. But yes, if his survivors don't have that kind of proof, and this isn't just a problem in South Africa. This was worldwide. Silicosis is in the construction industry than it even is in the mining industry. And yet the construction industry is much more fragmented. Our mining industry for 100-year records, probably better records than almost any other industry in the country. Unfortunately, it's a tragedy in human life that probably the majority of people will never be compensated for that. And as I said, it was in all the countries. My grandfather died of silicosis at 45. My father died of lung disease at age 57. He got paid out nothing. It doesn't make that right. A little bit of silicosis, but not very much. So I'm going to live okay. I'll die of something. Yeah, we got to make the best effort we can, but there's a line drawn, and there's not the people or the money or resources to keep going back. Our mining companies made a real effort in the 60s and 70s to benchmark themselves world standards. So the testing was very good. I got here January 82. We were tested for silicosis. We were tested for TB early. And not nice, but a good part of silicosis, a good factor of it, it can be detected easy. It's not something that hides and then just pops up like cancer. So the mines have really improved testing. It's been very good for the last 50 years. The number of people who have silicosis today is almost eradicated as far as new cases. It's mainly the older cases. It's people who have been in the mines for 30, 40 years. An interesting statistic is we have battled to reduce the silica level in mines. And so that means mechanization is going to help. Education of the employee is going to help. Regular testing, moving the employee to a different place. Automation takes employees away from the face is much more than they used to. So silicosis is always underground as our rock bursts, but proactive steps on both sides. Now, the employee's got to adhere. When he knows he's got to get tested every 3 months, he's got to show up. He can't play games and have somebody else stand in for him, have a book that he was in and he wasn't. Employees have to keep their documentation, especially if they change jobs between mining companies. And we mentioned construction earlier, very poor record keeping in construction. So when a person gets hired, he's got to have his union and the mining company inform him. No one is more responsible for safety and health than you are. The mining company is responsible for taking certain steps, but you are the most of all. Educate yourself, follow known practice, and we've got to embed that in each employee's mind. They can't think, oh, I've got a union, they're taking care of me. The mining company's taking care of me. Safety begins with the individual.